Hi, welcome to Personal Pivot. I'm Claudia, and this is a space for honest conversations about change, whether it's in your career, your relationships, or within yourself. Because sometimes the most powerful move you can make is a pivot. Today, we're talking about purpose, family advocacy, and single motherhood. How one person's experience in one area positively influences other areas of her life. I want to take a moment to introduce Guadalupe Rodriguez, or how some of you may know her, Lupe. Lupe comes from an educational background in healthcare, but what truly sets her apart is her heart for helping others. If you know her, if you've met her, you know this is 100% true. And that's whether she's supporting unhoused individuals with food, with daily necessities, reaching out to those of us that know her to come through for her, or by simply showing up for the people in her life when they need it most. On a personal note, this is why this episode is so special to me. I believe Lupe is my sister from another mister. This is also my best friend, someone who I've known for many, many years. So, on a personal note, Lupe is a core part of my own village. She has supported me through some of the hardest and most important moments of my life, from heartbreak, planning a funeral that I had never done before, being there when my mom is ill, my own career transitions. She was there through every single one of those. She knows a lot. Maybe she knows too much. She was also there in a meaningful way, again, many years ago, taking me to get my GED and making sure that I kept moving forward. So she is a special, special part of my life, as I am sure she is just as special to many, many other people, those that she touches on the daily, those that she comes through for. To me, she is definitely the definition of showing up for others. And I am incredibly grateful to be able to introduce her today and for all of you to get to know her. So, welcome, Lupe. Thank you for being here. I'm so happy that you are on this podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
With that said, so I said a lot. If you want to add anything there, if there's something as part of your introduction that you would like for people to know about you, please feel free to throw it in here. I talked about your background in healthcare, and we're going to dig deeper into the work that you currently do. We met when I was 14, I want to say going on 15, and we're not going to talk about how old we are now, but it's like
We're still
10
young.
years ago. It's like 10 years ago that we met. So we've known each other for a really long time. Anything that you would like to add?
Truly blessed to know you this like since our teen years and now we're adults. Um, and I'm just thankful for the friendship and just seeing you here today and being part of your podcast is such a beautiful moment. And so it's just I'm trying to inhale it all in, just because I know that this has always been your thing, like to do something like this or anything that has to do um with the industry of movies. I mean, ever since I know you, you used to have like the old school. That's gonna give up your age. You used to have. I remember our trips to what was it, Blockbuster? I think I
Where I
don't even
worked?
remember.
Where I worked at Hollywood Video.
Oh
Please
yes,
don't say
Hollywood videos.
Blockbuster. I worked at
Sorry.
Hollywood Video. How
It
dare
just,
you?
you've always had a passion for movies and like I think more specifically always like has been Jim Carrey as your favorite actor. And
I think a lot of people know this about
and
me. I
also
get so
meeting
many
him in
random
person.
I get so many random notices from people when anything Jim Carrey pops up, even now. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's always been that, like I always see him, I'm like, oh my God, this is her hubby. You didn't hear this. So yeah. And to meeting him, it was, I think, has been such a great memory that we made together while I was pregnant, getting the book signed. So yeah,
So
and we have
I'll
a lot
stop
of
right there. I'll stop right there. Let me tell people this story because I think it's an important story, even though, and this is because I said she's been there for a lot of things. Let me tell this quick story before we dig into what you do and how you come through for others. You came through for me in a way that a lot of people don't know. I met Jim Carrey, I want to say like 19 years after I first became a really big fan. So we met him at a book signing. He wrote a children's book. And they told us off the bat, and I don't know if this will ever land in his hands, but who knows? I guess I apologize. We apologize, but it was so worth it. Um, they told us in advance he is not going to personalize any signings because we want people to get through and get signatures. So he was not putting any dedications or anything on the books. And I believe you were up first. The rest of us were kind of waiting behind. So I had my entire family with me with a book in hand, ready to get it signed because I needed like so many copies of it. So what Lupe did was she was pregnant and she went up and she was talking to him. And I'm like, she's kind of taking a long time. The rest of us want to see him too. And she's talking to him. And then she tells me afterwards, after this incredible moment, she says, he put your name on it. And I was like, "Oh my God, how did you do that?" And she said, "I told him that I was going to name my baby Claudia. So if he could please dedicate it." So this really wonderful thing that he was doing, oh, how cute. This book is dedicated to your future child, was actually dedicated to me. So she lied to Mr. Jim Carrey to get this book signed and personalized to me. And I appreciate you, and you're a gangster for that. And I love every single time that you come through like a gangster like that. I appreciate it. So yeah, we have some memories.
Oh, yes, we do. So you're welcome.
Thank you. And we have many stories like that. Maybe in a future podcast we'll just talk back and forth and let people hear some of these horror stories that we have.
Oh, Lord.
Um, uh, we could talk for hours. But
Yes.
what I really want to touch on, and I'm just going to dive right in. What I really want to touch on is the work that you do, and I've told you before, and I will keep saying it, and I've said it to other people. I don't know how you do this work. Now, just to give people some insight, um, you are in you support families, right? And I've had my own share of experience with social workers and parent partners, be it the people who are the liaison between the social worker and the family. And this is kind of where your work is, right? You're not entirely into the weeds of the social work, but you are definitely involved with courts. And from when I first met you and hearing some of the things that you originally wanted to do, like if I can share, I'm going to anyway. I heard things like, I'm going to be a bus driver. You're going to see me driving a bus. I'm going to be, what are they called? The, um, parking enforcement, those who are giving out tickets. You had some really wild dreams, but what never went away is helping other people. From when we were teenagers, you wanting to help others, you saying that person needs this. We need to come through for this family. Hey, this person needs a Christmas tree. For as long as I've known you, that has always been the core of who you are, and it's been such a special part of you. So you transitioned into tell me first how you fell into the work that you're doing now.
I've always had like you said, the thing to help others has always been a drive, to be of service. That's always been in me ever since I was a little girl. I remember, I believe all of this comes from my grandmother. My grandmother always helped others, and my grandmother, it's, um, plays a big role in the woman that I am today. The little feisty one too. But she always told me, like, to help others, to be of service. Um, for me, I do recall a story when I was in middle school. There was a kid that went to school with me. He got shot. So I went around like through classrooms. I asked the principal if I could go through the classrooms during lunch and recess and asked if they could donate maybe their quarters for snacks. Um, so I asked for that help, and even in high school, I continued to do it. And the passion just to serve others has always been in me. And whether it was big or small, I worked at a bakery. It's really well known. It's really good too. But I remember that they had so many leftover bagels, like so many and so many leftover food, and we had to throw it away. So I used to pack up my car with the bags of bagel. Um, my car smelled like a bakery. But I
I can
used to
picture.
just be so happy just to be able to take it to the Midnight Mission and donate it for the less fortunate. There was a I don't remember what it was in Haiti, so I collected bags of clothes from a lot of my close friends and family. I just always had the passion to be of service to others, and it's something that whether it's something small or big, it's always been in me. So the job that I'm at now, I applied for it a while back, and I there was some layoffs and freezes and things like that. So, I have a very dear friend of mine, Teresa, that she helped me, and then she put me in contact, and then a woman that I would love, love, love to thank for giving me the opportunity while I was pregnant 3 months. And normally at 3 months, they're like, yeah, we don't hire people because it's high risk or they're going to leave soon. We call her Nana Drake with Genesis. She's just amazing to us. So she took a chance on me. And little do you know, I started working at 3 months pregnant. And it was a job that I always prayed for. And that's to be of service. This field was very new to me, but I did see it in my heart that I could do it. I've been with at the job that I'm at, for, I wanna say 12 and a half years now, and there's been ups and downs, but every time I go out on the field and I help a family, I know I'm making a difference in the world, and I do, work with little ones, and even teens or even young adults that, have issues with mental health. They have, cases with DCFS or probation. So it's just being part of their lives and seeing the change that you could make in them. It's what makes every day worth being in the field that I'm in. And I always thank God. I have an amazing supervisor that backs me up in my craziness. And amazing administrators too. So this is what keeps on making me go, and I'm always like looking for resources for my kids. I call them my kids because I don't know, that's just always been me calling them my kids.
Yeah.
And I always make sure that they have the resources like to play sports, to be in different activities. I've had the blessing of going on different trips with them, such as Universal Studios, uh, Lucky Strike, something that the kids that I service will probably never experience due to the traumas, due to the financial bind that the families are in, due to them being in foster homes. So just to me be there, for me being there and being able to live this experience with my kids has been amazing. Um, a lot of kids made me run or make me get on rides that I was like, oh Lord, what do I do? But I still got on the rides, and I'm like, "I have to get my kids," you know? So, it's been a true blessing. As a matter of fact, I reached out to someone yesterday and I said, "Hey, can you please support me, in providing me a contact number for a few of my kids to be in football." So it's just amazing the things that you could do when you connect with other community members, to make a difference in the kids and get them what they need. And I'm not shy to ask, so I think that plays a big role. I've never been, what's the worst they could tell me no, and I'm very persistent. When I'm determined, I'm very persistent, and I've asked for holidays. I have a lot of amazing people that have helped me, like, in holidays by donating food to my families or Christmas. You've been one of them that have supported me really, really, really big in this mission for my kids, to provide them like Christmas gifts, a tree, the ornaments, and just those smiles. Like I said earlier, it's is what makes my drive to keep on going every day. There's days that I myself, I deal with anxiety and depression at times, but just knowing that I'm making a difference in this kid's life, it just it makes me just keep on going. I've gone to work with anxiety, headaches, but guess what? It's not stopping me. As long as I could do this, and also I've been very big on bringing my nieces and nephews with me to when they were young to volunteer different homeless places. I don't even like the word homeless. I think it sounds very degrading, so I just use it. I don't even like it right now. Um
And
So,
some
yeah,
places are titled that way, right? Some companies or
yeah, unfortunately they
organizations
are.
will say like homeless this, and you've corrected me. You're like, they're not homeless, they're unhoused, they're less
Yeah.
fortunate. Great, let's make those corrections now.
Yes, and
It-
with that, I'm just so proud that the seeds that we plant in the kids and our kids when they're young is seeds that grow. I have a niece that started her own nonprofit organization, and she is doing such an amazing job. Like, I just admire her resilience through all that she's been through, with the loss of my brother at a young age, but she's so resilient. She used to go with me to make sandwiches or burritos, to take to the less fortunate, go to children's hospital to pass out toys to the kids at the hospital. I have a very dear friend of mine that told me the day that I stopped doing this job is when they let me go because he was so passionate about helping. So this friend told me I will not leave this job for another job until they let me go or I cannot work here anymore because he said you have to be in with a passion for what you're doing. Um, if not, then you don't belong at that job. So I've always kept that in my head and I still thank him to this day. So, and my passion is not going to go away for being of service to others. Even when I travel to my country, I take clothes that doesn't fit my daughter, like generally used clothes or new clothes that she hasn't used. I take it to El Salvador, where I'm from, and I donate it to the kids out there. I take a big old luggage, or I collect clothes from a lot of my friends know that I do that, so they will give me clothes.
So you said a couple of things, and I want to highlight some things for people to understand because, and this is how our conversations normally go, by the way. Lupe will say one thing, and then I start digging into what she says, and we never finish a conversation. So
Yeah,
those of you who've
sorry.
seen memes, those memes that say, when you're best friend and you don't finish conversation, we haven't finished a conversation since I was 14. Um,
Yeah,
but I think it's important for people to know it doesn't even feel like you fell into this role. It feels like the role found you. There are certain
yeah,
personality traits that you have that even my own husband has said, you kind of have to have a personality like Lupus to do that work. If you've ever thought about doing this type of work, it takes someone who is you're not going to be perfect, right? Lupe, you've said you have anxiety. We've talked about this before. Mental health is something that we both carry near and dear to our hearts, and we can talk about that forever. But there are things that are happening in your own life, like having anxiety, like going through these mental health issues yourself, and you still come through for other people. So as far as personality traits, this is what I see in you. You are spunky. You're scary sometimes.
sometimes.
Um, so when she says like I'll ask people, what she means is you're gonna do it. You're gonna do the work. You've said you want to help. You're going to help. Sometimes it
Yeah,
means, and you've said it too. What's the worst that people can say is no. If people tell you no, you even try again sometimes because this is something that's needed. You see the other side of it, of those who really need it. You've mentioned um, bringing your nieces and nephews, bringing your daughter. You mentioned Genesis, by the way. That is her daughter, aka my goddaughter. So I think it's
mhm,
it's really great work that you're doing. That you're also showing the people around you this is how you come through. You don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to have all this money. But if you have clothes that you don't wear, let me get it. If you have, um, we've done this before with like a Christmas tree. You would think it doesn't mean a lot where you're like, I can't help
mhm.
people the way that I want. Decorations are things that I've thrown away before, but for another person, that could mean that's their holiday, right? So these are things that this is why I'm saying I don't think you fell into the work or it was by accident. The work found you and you keep coming through for other people. It's a path that I even didn't know myself. When my mom and I first got the girls, I will be very honest with everyone. I was very annoyed having a social worker visit my home. I was very annoyed having a parent partner visit my home. It was our home that we were trying to build, and we had grown folks who were like, "Hi, I'm here for the girls." not for you, just to see how they're doing. It can feel very heavy no matter the situation. For us, it was because we were bringing families together. You've mentioned some of the things that you come through for families for, but when you
Mhm.
have a middle person, that's the person who's advocating, that liaison who's advocating for you as the family and is advocating for what the state wants to see, because that can be very difficult word to understand. I still don't understand it. I just did whatever I was told, right? For me, that's who I had, right? That's the liaison. And this is where your role comes in. All the roles are titled differently, and you are kind of the middle person, right? The resource person for everybody else. But this is where I see some of the work that you did of your personal life and the actual work that you're doing for families. So I feel like it was a path that was created for you and built for you. And you're just like, yep, I'm on this path of servitude. So that's the path that I'm taking. And you're bringing
Mhm.
everybody else with you. You can be aggressive sometimes in a beautiful way. You're not afraid of hearing no. You kind of just go for it. These are things that make you successful at what you do, to be able to advocate for other people. There's so many different ways that we advocate for people. Myself and Karina will do it in the hospital and advocate for my mom because that's the healthcare situation. You do it with families, you do it with unhoused people. All of these are your own lived experiences, but they're also part of your professional identity. So my follow-up question to you is, as an advocate for mental health and for families, how do you personally navigate being both the helper, the resource, and someone who has to do their own work, their own healing? When you are doing this type of work, how do you balance that? How do you navigate being the resource and the person who's doing their own healing?
I've done therapy, a lot of it lately. I met an amazing person about a year ago, and this person, I want to say he was God sent. He brought me back to my connection with God and just back to my spiritual part. And I have been leaning out on a lot to God. Um, but I do feel that when I'm helping my families, although I'm going through my own challenges, um, I have, some of my families don't know about God, but I do. So and they don't have anyone else. I have families that have no family support because of sometimes their addiction has caused a lot of family conflicts, a lot of family barriers. And I think another thing that helps me deal with my own challenges like anxiety or depression is just knowing that I'm helping someone else. I might not be right at the moment for myself, but just knowing that I'm helping a kid. The This kid has been through more things than I have been at my 21 years old. So that helps me a lot. It helps me to understand just how much I need to be out there for these kids and their families. I have parents that I talk to that tell me, like, you don't belittle me. You come and help me. You keep it 100. And it's something that I always tell the parents that I service. I'm not going to be here to sugarcoat. If I'm here to sugarcoat, I'm being a disservice to you and to your kid. I'm here to tell you how it is. I'm here to tell you what the court sees, how to see it with the court's eyes, um, how to help you maintain your kids at home if you got them back, and how to help you get your kids back. And I've seen a lot of parents cry. I've had parents that tell me, "Hey, you know what? I relapsed. This is why I haven't talked to you in a few weeks." And I'm like, I have to have those deep talks with them. And mind you, I deal with different populations, and I love it. I love it because it's very diverse. I don't only deal with a professional with a tie or a person with a badge. I deal with people that have came from the rock bottom, but you bring that hope, and that's what starts healing you too. That's what gives you that hope. Like, hey, you couldn't fight yesterday that much, but today you got it. and just be that advocate, because a lot of them are like, like I said earlier, their families don't want to talk to them. They feel the system is against them. Um, Everybody's against them. Their own kids are against them sometimes. So like I said, I share a lot of my lived experience, like being raised with my grandma, fighting my own depression and anxiety, my own challenges as a teenager. So I'm very comfortable. I'm an open book. Just don't go ask me a lot of questions because I don't know. Might have to invite me to coffee or something. But yeah, I think that's what heals me. And just bringing hope to these parents because it's a lot. There's times that I come home and I cry. There's times that I leave some meetings and I'm like my mind starts like, okay, what can I do for them? And there's times that I just want to shut down but I know I can't. Yeah.
Thank you for that. And I want to ask you a follow-up question because, you're mentioning the kids, the families, and we've talked about your daughter and your nieces and your nephews and your family, but specifically on being a mom, how has becoming a single mom, there's many definitions of single mom too. Single moms with with help, single moms with a village, single moms with no village. So I use that term loosely. But for you, how has being a full time and a single mom shaped the way that you show up in your work and the way that you show up for other people?
I'm blessed to have a job that has a lot of flexibility. I'm just truly blessed that I have a job that has a lot of, it comes with a lot of stress, but it has a lot of flexibilities to where I haven't missed one of my daughter's activities, and she's gonna be 12 next month. That's what helps me out a lot. And just knowing how to balance out and saying, you know what, this family needs me. Let me take and in between too, I could take like little breaks to do things with my daughter and then get back to work. I don't have a set schedule. We're pretty much on clock 24/7 in case any of our kids need us. Um, so I don't know. I just don't know. And I mean, I'm gonna give the glory to God because a lot of it is it's everything is him. I believe everything is him. He's the one that gives me the strength to keep on going every day. And I'm out on the field a lot. I go to houses where I'm not embarrassed to go to a house and sit on the floor, and bring something to eat for me and this family, or maybe a little Starbucks. But um, so we're gonna eat together. And I'm very I don't go to the family's house and I'm like, oh my God, like where am I gonna sit? You tell me there's no chair. Hey, let's sit on the floor because I never want to make any of the families that I service to feel belittled because of their circumstances. And let me tell you, you have a nice looking couch. You want to donate it? We are about to get your couch from one of my friends. Um, and that's where you meet your families. That's where you bring hope to them. And I also know that I'm not only out there to help my families, but within that, um, being a single mother, it can get hard. It can because I do everything alone. I do everything alone for my daughter. And that makes me very proud. And I know that whatever little weight I could lift from these families that have no hope. And I tell them like, hey, I'm a single mom. If I could do it, you could do it. So I bring that, like I said, this is what you could do, like kind of like, hey, right now you're not working, you have to do all your core mandates, you have to take care of your kids. But guess what? Go to your testing. Make sure you're testing, make sure you're taking your domestic violence classes or whatever their core mandates are. So when you bring that to them, they're like, yeah, I guess I could do it. I have a dad that I'm working with and he's like, man, excuse my French. He's like, how the fuck do you do it? I said, you know what? I do it. You're gonna do it too. So yeah, and I will meet the families where they're at. You want to meet me at your job? Let's go. So this father that I'm working with, he's a boxer. So he comes out with his gloves. He's like, are you ready? I said, no. Not
Let
today,
me get
but
my
like, let's
gloves.
talk. Yeah. I'm like, I don't need your gloves. But yeah, it's that. It's just that passion, that drive that although, I'm a single mom, but I'm not I don't go into that victim mentality that I'm a single mom because I could do it. I was raised by an amazing, amazing woman that taught me that todo se puede. You could do everything.
Yep. For There are two things that I feel like you do in your life for as long as I've known you, that I feel like you probably got this from your grandmother, that you do in your personal life, that I think is what you need in your work life, especially with the work that you do working families. One of the things that I've heard you say before, and in very different uh, iterations of it, is who gives an F, or who gives a fuck, right?
Yep.
And then the other thing is just do it. Who gives an F, and just do it, right? It feels like you don't put excuses for doing the work that you're doing and pushing through. And some of these challenges that you encounter with some of your families and even in your personal life, they are challenges. They're not
Yes.
necessarily excuses per se. They are things that people go through, that you find a way, you figure it out. Like I mentioned earlier, yeah, you're a little scary sometimes, but in a beautiful way, in a good way, where
Thank
this is the
you.
challenge we have right now. How do we push through it? I don't know how to do this. Who can do it? I don't have that resource. Who has it? We need a
Hmm.
couch. Who has a couch? Right. So it's the effort and the just do it mentality that I feel like I see in your entire life and everything that you do, from something so simple like, oh, Lupe, I don't know. Let's pretend that we're going to, because we're always eating, right? I want to go to In and Out, but oh, it's going to take like 30 minutes. So what? Do you want it or not? Let's go get it. Right?
Hmm.
Oh, but then this, but then that. Okay. And so you don't want In and Out, right? This is the personality that I've seen for as long as I've known you, that other people are so fortunate that you come through for them the same way. So what? Just do it. F it. Um, with that said, you are usually the person that's being leaned on for things. And I'm a big believer in asking for help no matter where. You said it earlier, the worst you can hear is no. Uh, when it comes to you being the strong one and you being that person that comes through for other people, I mentioned in your introduction that you were there for me in planning a funeral service, a service I had never done that before. I feel like at that time you had done your grandmother's, and I remember that day like it was yesterday. There's a lot that I don't remember, everyone. I remember you came through and I leaned on you, and I leaned on you hard. You were there, my sister was there. So we're asking all the questions of the places, these mortuaries that we were going to, and I was like, what am I doing? You came through for me in being there. And also I didn't know that in the background where we worked, because we worked together, you were also taking up a collection that at that time, I feel like I probably would have been like, no, 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 let's not do that. I don't want people to think that. I don't want people to think this. And for you, it was, and so what?
Hmm.
Right. So you took up this collection, and I didn't know I was going to need it. For everyone that contributed to that, where we worked that together, this was what, 2000, early
Or
2010. Thank you for your contributions. It was 2010. Thank you
oh
for your
wow.
contributions. I did not have that money to put that service together, and it came as a blessing from God. And you were there to guide that entire situation. But my point is, you're always the strong one. You're the strong one for your clients. You're the strong one for your daughter. You're the strong one for your community. What has asking for help look like for you? And I want to talk specifically about our Hispanic community. It's very hard for us to get that from our parents, to learn from them how to ask for help, because I've seen my mom bust her ass cleaning houses her entire life. You've seen the same thing, right? On your end. We don't talk about mental health. We don't talk about needing help unless you know, like,
Mhm.
oh, they have these group of homies, these señoras that help each other. That's normal. But to genuinely ask for help, and not in the form of présteme $100 y luego se los pago. That's not the same thing. That's asking
Yeah.
for a loan. I need help. What has it looked like for you? And what did you have to unlearn about being strong for the people that you work with, the children, the community? And what did you have to say? I can't do that for my generation. I can't do the things that I learned.
hmm Um, I think for myself, it might still be a struggle to ask for help for my own personal needs. I'm very hesitant, but I'm learning. But when it comes to others, I will always do it. I don't know. I couldn't really tell you. It's for me it's hard to ask for help just because I'm like I yeah, the no's are like what's the words that I could get, right? But at times I just rather do it alone, maybe because I've been very independent since I was 15 years old. Very independent. I've worked since I was 15 years old and thank God I'm still working. Um, so maybe that's what's made me like not really asking for help. I don't know. But when it comes to others, I'll go above and beyond for them. So, but I'm learning. I'm
Well,
learning to ask for help.
we need for you to go above and beyond for you. But
Yes.
and I think that's I believe it's normal for our generation. Um,
Mhm.
you know, you being raised by your grandmother, me seeing my mom. I learned how to scrub a toilet when I was like 6 or 7. We clean windows, we clean toilets, we clean floors. We didn't do it well, according to my mom, but we were there hustling. And these are the things that we saw, right? We didn't know how to ask for help. Even now, I feel like I do that sometimes too, but I feel like, you know, I have my husband there who's a blessing who will pick up on these signs. What signs? I kind of just say it now. I need help. But it takes a lot for you to be able to ask other people that. So
Yeah.
I want to say for those of you who have someone like that in your life who's always the strong one, just ask them how they're doing. Send them funny memes like Lupe and I send to each other. We send each other some random
The whole
stuff.
day.
The whole all day. What do you
She's
mean?
my third job, my second job.
I, I work. I don't send memes all day. What do you mean? Um, but yeah, check on your friends. Check on your
Yeah.
strong ones. And there's a lot that we as a community need to unlearn. And I'm not going to just say it's only us Hispanic folks, but I happen to be Hispanic, so I can speak to that. So if your communities are like that too, I think we have a lot of work to do as people who are bringing up this new generation on not always needing to be the strong ones, but being able to ask for help. And I feel like this is a great lesson for all of us that you can do it for other families. You can absolutely do it for someone else. Do it for
Mhm.
yourself too. So I appreciate your honesty with that question, Lupe. I feel like it would have been very easy to say, but you know, I just ask. And you're like, no, I'm doing the work. We talk about this all the
Yeah.
time too. We're learning things, we're unlearning things, we're still doing the work. We've talked about therapy before. You and I are sometimes each other's therapy. I tell you often, I'm going to send you the bill because this is a lot. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you get
it's,
your collections.
I'm going to start sending you to collections for all the couch talks that we've had.
Oh, damn.
Um, I, I, I do want, I do want to ask you, and this is where we can start wrapping things up, but I do want to ask you if there's someone out there that let's say me when I was 17. Let's talk to that one, or you when you were younger. I dropped out of high school. I did everything really late. And back then, you couldn't tell me that I would be able to do the type of work that you do, to be advocating for other families. I wouldn't even know where to start. For little Lupe with the big attitude and and the big heart and the bigger mouth, what would you say to someone that maybe wants to do this type of work but doesn't know where to go or what to do or where to start? Um, what advice would you give them?
I think first of all, go in with an open heart. And go in with an open heart because if you're gonna go into a field like my field or anything that has to do with providing services to others, you have to go with an open heart because they need you. There's a lot of need out there. There's a lot of need and foster care. There's so much need like for these kids and even kids that have been reunified with their parents. I think just going, like I said, with an open heart and just follow it. You may not know exactly what you're gonna do at first, because Lord, I was lost a little bit, but I was blessed with a lot of amazing coworkers that helped me along. Working for an agency that's great about helping us and not letting us fall on our face. So that it just pray about it. Just pray about it, and believe me, you'll do it. And start small. You don't have to start big. I started at what was it, seventh grade, collecting money for one of my classmates that got shot and killed. So just start small, and you don't have to listen. Go out to your communities. Go make a bunch of sandwiches and donate them. Get them something small to drink. They might toss it in your face. You got to remember, mental health is out there. There's a lot of substance abuse too, so they might throw it out there. But guess what? You're still doing what's your calling. And I want to say, I this has been my calling since I was a little girl, and I'm a firm believer that God put this in me since I was a little girl, and it's not gonna stop. And I'm bringing this into my daughter. Like we do stuff together to help pay it forward.
I really appreciate the reminder that you could be well intended. You could have all the best intentions in the world. I'm going to make these sandwiches and I'm going to go give it to these people, and they absolutely can throw it in your face, and some of them will.
Hmm.
I feel like we need to remind ourselves, and when I say we, maybe I'm talking just for myself. Um, we need to remind ourselves this type of work, whether it's with an agency or you're doing it on the side, and I'm hoping to get your niece on because it's such important work that she's doing for her
Oh,
nonprofit,
she
and people
is.
should know. People should know what she's doing. Um,
Yes.
i- if you get someone throwing the sandwich in your face, if you get someone saying, "No, I don't need your help," that's okay. They don't want
Don't take
it,
it
they're not
personal.
ready. Don't take it personal. You don't do it for the
Mm-mm.
thank yous, you don't do it for the likes, you don't do it for like, those are things that, and you and I have talked about this when we see videos of people up in a person's face. I tell you, I really hope they got permission from that person, because when someone is down on their luck, the last thing you want is someone in your face without getting your permission. You're still a human, you're still a person. Um, but be okay with that. Be okay with someone saying, "I don't want it. I don't like it. This is
Hmm.
not for me. Go somewhere else. Go F yourself." Okay, fine. Let me go do that.
Yeah.
Because that's not what you do it for. You do it for the eventually someone's gonna say yes, and they don't have to say thank you. But this is why having a big heart is so important. Having someone like Lupe around in your life is so important. That that's that constant reminder. What are you really doing it for? This important work
Hmm.
that's not about you, it's about other people. What is it really for? And is it for you to feel good about yourself, or is it for them to feel good about themselves? Because that's really what it's about. So,
And don't do it
yeah,
for a clap. Don't do it for recognition. For me, uh, do it for those that you're blessing. And and do it for God, because that's what He'll want us to do for our neighbors.
thank you, Lupe.
You're
I
welcome.
feel like just from this episode alone, there are a couple of things that I really wish we had like 10 more hours right now. There are some things that I will touch on in the future, and if this lands somewhere, I would love that. If people want to hear about religion, I know you have a lot to say about it. I'm new to the space. I'm what is it? God is new to me, but I'm not new to him. Um there's a lot there, right, for those who maybe need to hear, like, how did you find your way through religion? We've talked about myself being a high school dropout, single motherhood. There's so many things that we could touch on that I really wish we had more time. And if people do want to hear it, they know how to reach me. So I'm all for it. So if in the future I invite you, Lupe, please don't be surprised. If there's something
Oh,
that you would like to talk about, if there's something you would
I'm an
like to
open
talk
book.
about, same here. I'm an open book. However, there are some chapters that you just shouldn't be reading. So,
Oh, I'm
not
an open
allowed.
book.
There,
That's
there
the
are
way
chapters that are some chapters that are not allowed. That should stay where they are.
in the
No,
past.
we know in the past we know a lot about each other, so I joke about
Yeah.
that. But absolutely, Lupe is an open book, and I appreciate you being here and sharing this very, very important work that you do with us. And if there's a family out there who maybe is going through a struggle, who can't find their way out, my advice would be find your resources, ask the questions, ask for help, because someone's going to connect you with someone like Lupe, and that's going to make the world of a difference. If it's take this test, go through your classes, you need that support system. Um, if you're not going through that type of challenge, find yourself a friend like Lupe, because believe me when I tell you, there are certain things that you feel that you can do for yourself, and you need to build your village so that you have
Mhm.
someone that has this just this outlook on life and what we're supposed to be doing positively influencing you, right? You and I met many, many years ago. There are people who have come and gone, and you and I remain solid for that same reason. We show up for one another when things are
Mhm.
good, when things are bad, when things are ugly, when we feel like maybe it's not necessary today, but let me check on how my friend is doing. Do that. Do that for your peeps too.
Mhm.
So
And
I'll
also,
end it there.
um,
But I was gonna ask, go
sorry,
for it. If there's anything you want to say, please share.
I want to say I know there's a big stigma with mental health, a big stigma, especially in the Latino or Black community. Please seek help. There's no shame. Get help. There's a 988 number that you could call and text if you don't want to talk to someone, but please seek help. There's a lot of help out there for substance abuse, domestic violence. Um, you don't have to go through these journeys alone. There's always help. And most importantly, seek God if you believe in God. And if you don't, then seek professional help also, please.
Thank you, Lupe. I'll make sure to get that number from you so that we can post it along with this episode. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
being here. I appreciate the time that you've given to answer my many, many questions and my personal questions. That is all I have. I am here. If you ever need me, you know that I'm available to you. But anyone else who's listening, please continue to listen. Let us know what you like to hear. Thank you for joining us on Personal Pivot. I am Claudia. This is Lupe. Lupe, thank you for joining us.
You're
Enjoy your
welcome.
day, everyone. Have a great one. Thank you for tuning in to Personal Pivot. If this conversation resonated with you, be sure to follow, share it with someone who might need it, and leave a review. Until next time, keep growing, keep evolving, and don't be afraid to pivot.